Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the How to Film Weddings podcast. My name is John Bunn and I am very excited about this week's episode of the podcast. It's a different kind of week because it's just me, solo. Like, I'm not interviewing anybody, Nick's on vacation, and I just wanted to record this episode because I think it's really important for all of us. And today we're going to be talking about 5 wedding day mistakes that we see with people. So we're going to go through 5 wedding day mistakes, but first, I want to talk to you about our Calibrate workshop. What is it? It's an online workshop. It's on August 23rd. We're going to have 5 guest speakers where you can tune in from the comfort of your own home. You can get your office mates. You can all tune in and listen as we can calibrate throughout the summer, calibrate our business. And that's why we named it Calibrate Workshop. We're going to have people on talking about social media and about branding and about building luxury weddings and about all kinds of things. And we're going to be announcing the guest speaker lineup soon. We're going to have pre-sale tickets that go live on August 3rd. So if you're listening this as we drop this week, the pre-sale tickets are going to go live August 3rd, announcing our speakers on August the 2nd. So a lot of big things coming up with Calibrate Workshop. It's a great and affordable way for you to really calibrate and get your business on track and really get inspired for the second half of the year. We did something different this year too. We made tickets way more affordable. The goal for us on this has never been how can we get rich. We do pay our speakers, and so we're basically we're breaking even. And so what we've done is we've made our base tickets $49. That's right, $49. I think last year they were $129. The year before we had them at $299 or something. And our goal is to provide you incredible value. And so for $49, you're going to get access to 5 guest speakers, some of the best wedding filmmakers on the planet. So you want to head over to howtofilmweddings.com/calibrate to make sure that you're on the wait list, or if you're watching or listening to this after August the 3rd, that's where you can go to pick up a ticket for $49. We'll also have a VIP ticket that the details will be there. You'll get a little bit more, some more access, things like that. But $49 for you to join Calibrate Workshop from home. You literally have no excuse not to join. So be sure to check out howtofilmweddings.com/calibrate. And before we get into our 5 wedding day mistakes, I also wanted to inform you about something new that we're doing over at How to Film Weddings, and that is our outsourcing page over at howtofilmweddings.com/outsourcing. We've talked a lot in the past just about like why you should be outsourcing things in your business. Maybe it's not editing, maybe it is editing, but we have found that over the years that outsourcing our edits has given us a ton more free time to run our businesses, to make sure that we have time for our families. And so if you're on the fence about outsourcing, go over to howtofilmweddings.com/outsourcing. We have a list of curated vendors that you can check out there, outsourcing companies, culling companies. And so that list is vetted by myself and Nick. These are legit companies. I know that sometimes in our Facebook group, if you post about outsourcing, you start getting a ton of DMs from a lot of spam. That's not what this is. This is just a free resource to you to check out some of our favorite editing companies, howtofilmweddings.com/outsourcing, and then also Calibrate Workshop. Okay. Enough stuff, enough talking about things that are going on. I want to get straight in to the content today. And these bullet points are in no specific order, but we have mentor sessions from time to time, and we are seeing a lot of common mistakes that people are making on the wedding day. And the first one that I have is in mistake number 1 on what you're doing on the wedding day wrong is you're forgetting the basics. Think about this. A lot of us spend so much time and we honestly are trying to do so much. We're watching so many other wedding filmmakers. We're just really focused on making fancy work and, getting those awards and doing that stuff. But a lot of us forget the basics. And what do I mean by that? I'm talking about choosing the right focal length for the getting ready footage, or choosing, the right focal length for ceremonies, or composure, like just composing your footage in a way that's aesthetically pleasing, or following the rules, not making the horizon line go through people's eyeballs, or just you're trying to do so much, and you're forgetting these basics. Lighting. Are there overhead lights on? Is good light on the skin of the couple? Are you blowing out your exposure? Are you the basics? This is a huge mistake that we see people making, is that they're just trying to get so much accomplished that they forget that if you're making really good fundamental decisions, if your audio sounds clean, if your lighting is really soft and clean, if you're shooting into the shadow sides of people's faces, if you're setting people up in good light, these basics add up to really good-looking wedding films. There's nothing worse than getting back into the editing bay and realizing, oh, shoot, I overexposed all day long because I was stressing about something else. Or, man, I really wish I would have got a wide shot or a tight shot, or what was I thinking? And so get back to the basics. We've got a lot more year left this year, and there's probably a lot more weddings you're going to be filming. And I'm just sitting here thinking, like, what if you walk into a wedding and think, I'm just going to do the fundamentals really well today? If you do the fundamentals really, really well for 90% of the wedding, and then spend the other 10% just trying to get some eye candy and doing some extra beautiful things, you're going to have a really solid film. There's nothing worse than bad audio for a wedding film, overexposed footage, shaky footage. Like, that's another one of the basics. Just like, is your footage good? Like, are you shaking your camera unwanted? Are you, just all kinds of little things. Don't forget the basics. Think about the basics and really focus on those. So that's point number one. Mistake number one. Mistake number two, and I mentioned this just a little bit, is you are trying to do too much on the wedding day. You're trying so hard to get all the gimbal shots, all the drone shots, all the angles, everything. And if you're focused on those basics that we were talking about in mistake number one, you're going to have a very solid film. But if you're trying to do too much, if you're trying to talk to your second shooter and go tell them all the things to do on the wedding day, and you're trying to get all these extra shots for the planner and all these different things that just you're trying to do too much. If you can just keep it simple. I know there's a lot of gear to have out there. There's a lot of lenses you can bring and drone footage and all this stuff. But if you just keep it simple and don't try to do too much, you're going to be able to serve your couples even better. I've done this. I have tried to do too much. I'm trying to direct my second shooter. I'm trying to go out and get drone footage when I only have a few minutes. I'm trying to get 3 different angles of a first look whenever I really only need 1 or 2. I'm trying to bring tripods and get them set up. So really look at what you're trying to do on a wedding day and say, is this helping the couple? Is this helping my brand? Am I trying to do too much? Would it be better for you to maybe be on a zoom lens to be able to get a wide, medium, and tight shot just really fast than trying to bring 3 different lenses so you can get that perfect bokeh? Maybe, maybe not. But you need to know what is trying to do too much. And what I like to do is I get those basics, right? I get those shots that I know I need to get. I get the solid stuff, and then I get eye candy. I try to do the extra stuff. I try to send a second shooter to do some extra things or whatever. But I think a lot of us, depending on where you're at, maybe you're seeing my films or Nick's films. You're like, oh my gosh, I want to do that thing that Nick did in his last film, and I'm going to go try to do that. But you've forgotten to get the basics out of the way. And so you just need to realize too that it's your brand and you're the one that's responsible for the footage and you're there to serve. And so by keeping it simple and trying not to do too much, you're going to serve your couple even better. Now, that's mistake number 1 and mistake number 2. The third thing I wanted to talk about, and this is something that I didn't do for a long time, is mistake number 3 is you are forgetting to look around and see what is actually happening around you. How many times do you get so focused in on your camera, into your eyepiece, your viewfinder, that you don't realize that grandma's sitting over in the corner just about to bawl because she's seeing her granddaughter get in her dress, or you're just watching the actions of people, not the reactions of people, or you're just filming the bride come down the aisle, but you're not even thinking about the bride's mom sitting on the front row and what she's doing, or all the bridesmaids, what are they doing, or the guests, or is the little ring bearer overdoing something cute, or I don't know, but like you're just so focused on I'm getting this awesome shot for Instagram and for the reel that you're not realizing, oh, like this little moment is happening around me. And my good friend Josh Helton, my best friend, I think so, Josh Helton, he might be able to speak on that from a little long distance. He was just talking to our mastermind group just about like not forgetting the little moments that are around. And he said something that I think was really cool. And he said that there are so many little moments happening all around you, and you're the only one to capture it. And if you don't, the bride will never even know it happened. The groom will never even know it happened. You're forgetting to look around and just see what's happening. You're forgetting, not even just so you can film it, but maybe you realize that the mom is over there stressed about something, and you're just realizing as a human being that this is probably not a good time to ask mom to come do something for you, or to come help the bride get the dress on, or maybe the planner is just running around like crazy and you can just stop and say, hey, is there anything I can do for you? Can I grab a box for you real quick? What's going on around you? Like, we're humans here that are at this wedding, and we forget to look around and see what's happening. Are there little things happening? Are there little notes being written? Are people setting up for the ceremony? Or like, there's all kinds of things going around, and you kind of get in this groove when you start shooting weddings and you're kind of becoming a veteran, or you've done it for a little while. So you know the kinds of shots you want to get, and you just kind of stick to what you're doing. But I would encourage you, just stop in little moments and look around. Are there things happening? Are there people watching from afar? Or like, the more that you can capture that stuff, like I film a lot of things knowing it will never end up in the highlight reel, but I know that the couple would want to have it. And I think I posted that on Threads this week about just like filming moments over perfection, and knowing that things around you are happening, a ton of them on a wedding day. And we forget sometimes that it's like, this is someone else's wedding that you're working. It's their wedding. It's not your wedding. And so look around on your wedding day, on the wedding day. Like, look around, see what's happening, see if you can cover it, see if it's something worth filming, especially in little moments like the first look. Are there anybody that is looking through a window watching? Are there any, is the mom over on the side watching? First looks with dad, same thing. Or when they're coming down the aisle, there's so many little stories that can be being filmed. That, if you're just paying attention. I love moments like when the dad sits down next to his wife right after he's handed off his kid to be married. They sit down, they hold hands, they look at each other, and you can just feel that moment. And you're like, oh, I love seeing that. I think about my wife, my kids, that moment when I hand my daughter off. And I think that this is a really important point, just because if all we're doing is just trying to film the next cool thing, if we're trying to do too much, if we're forgetting the basics, if we're not remembering to look around, I think we can get burned out, because we just, like, it's just a job. We're just doing all this stuff. Like, what's the point? And the thing that keeps me coming back are the people, the stories, the emotion. And if you're not keeping your head on a swivel, if you're not looking around, if you're not paying attention, you're going to miss some of these things. And I've done this hundreds of times where I've just missed moments because I wasn't ready for them. And so mistake number 3 is you're forgetting to look around and see what's happening. I've got 2 more mistakes for you that I want to run through with you, and I'm going to do that right after this break. If you are like most wedding filmmakers, you are constantly fighting against being completely overwhelmed from your backlog. We get it, and that is why we are so excited to bring you howtofilmweddings.com/outsourcing, a brand new place for you to find some of the best editors on the planet to help you get out from under the weight of your backlog. And the best part is we have personally vetted these companies to ensure that you aren't wasting your time finding editors. Whether you are looking for full-blown editors like Wedditor or brideandgroom.video, or if you're just needing someone to cull your films like Wedding Post House, we have a solution for you. So head over to howtofilmweddings.com/outsourcing to check out our curated list of outsourcing experts today. That's howtofilmweddings.com/outsourcing. All right, welcome back from break. And before we get into mistake number 4 and 5 on 5 wedding day mistakes, I wanted to mention our good friends over at Wedding Post House. Brady Huff, wedding filmmaker, started Wedding Post House, I believe, last year. And it's just a culling service. You send your footage to them, and he's on our outsourcing link, so you can check him out there, howtofilmweddings.com/outsourcing. But you can just send him your footage, and within the week, you get all the footage back, and it's edited in a way that's just culled for you. It's synced, it's organized, it's color-coded based on bride prep, groom prep, ceremony. It's all in one timeline, and anything that's usable from the wedding day is on this timeline. It's awesome. It saves me 2 days or so of time of culling footage, and everything's just synced, ready to go. The ceremonies are synced, the speeches are synced. It's awesome. So if you haven't checked out Wedding Post House, you can do that over at howtofilmweddings.com/outsourcing. Tell them we sent you. There's some links and there's some promo codes on there for some special rates. But as you're getting closer to getting backlogged for this year and you want to keep creative control, that might be a really great option for you to just get that done for you and not have to give up the whole edit. Maybe that's a great spot for you to outsource. So, all right. So we've talked about 3 mistakes so far. Number 1 was you're forgetting the basics. You're forgetting the simple things, And number 2 is you're trying to do too much. You're trying to film from multiple angles on things that don't need it. You're trying to fly the drone when it's not time. You're trying to just do all kinds of stuff. Number 3 is you're forgetting to look around. You're forgetting to see what's happening. Just those 3 things alone hopefully are enough to help you be like, hey, I should change some of those things. But we've got 2 more points for you. So let's move on to mistake number 4. And I think this one's really, if you've tuned out, tune back in. It is you're forgetting that you are marketing your brand on the wedding day. I think a lot of us, introverts, extroverts alike, we just kind of forget that we are the brand and that people are watching us. Down to what are you wearing? What kinds of words are you using? What is your posture? How are you communicating with people? Do you have a servant's heart? Do you come across snobby? Are you getting in front of people when they're trying to see things? Are you self-aware of just how much space you're taking up or what your gear feels like when you bring it into the room? What are you doing whenever you get there on the wedding day? Are you talking to the planner or the venue owner, or are you going in and saying hi to the couple before you start filming? What are you thinking about when you walk into a wedding day? Because a lot of people are forgetting that they're marketing their brand. And that can mean a lot of different things. Just the way you communicate with the photographer, the way you communicate with other vendors. How do people feel when they're around you? Are they excited that John Bunn walked into the door? Are they like, oh, this guy has an ego? Or your brand is, I can't tell you, I just booked a wedding this last week that's going to be over $20,000, which mind blown emoji here. But the bride for this wedding was a bridesmaid in a wedding I did 3 years ago in Charleston. And she reached out with a note that she had been saving for 2 years after she saw this wedding film because she loved being around me on the wedding day, and she was just blown away by the brand that I had built and the quality of the film and everything. And she got engaged on a Saturday. She reached out to me on a Sunday. We had a meeting on Wednesday of last week, and she basically said, I've got these 6 days I'm looking at. Which day are you available? What is the price? I'm ready to book. Because I had done such a good job marketing to her before she got engaged. I'll tell you, that's the easiest $20,000 booking I've ever gotten. And it's because I've really started to hone in on my brand. What did I wear to that wedding? How did I communicate? What did I do? That wedding specifically that I did in Charleston, the photographer was quite difficult to work with. The planner was quite difficult to work with. For me, I think that I just wasn't part of their posse or their crew. And so I just didn't feel very welcomed, and I was frustrated, and like the portrait session didn't go as well as I wanted to. The photographer kept getting in front of my shot and doing all it. I was annoyed, but that's who the couple hired as a photographer. So I could have whined. I could have complained. I didn't get my food on time. Blake and I shot that wedding, and I actually DoorDashed Chick-fil-A to us because we weren't getting any food for hours on end. And I could have had a bad attitude. And for a long time, I did have, I would get so frustrated about things if the photographer was a punk or if I didn't get food on time and I was forgetting that I was marketing my brand. And this bridesmaid that I booked this week for the $20,000 wedding next year, she was just like, you were such a pleasure to be around on the wedding day. I just remember you taking such good care of us and making us feel so comfortable. And you weren't like the typical wedding videographer with a bunch of gear. And she was like, you wore a suit and tie and it looked really nice and you looked fashionable. And you like all these little things added up. And you just never know who's watching on a wedding day. I remembered her, but just barely. She was one of 10 bridesmaids. But she's literally picking her wedding date around my schedule. She's going to pay me $20,000 plus fly me and Blake out to shoot it, plus cover the cost of us staying and eating and all the stuff for like a 3-day thing because we were marketing. So on the wedding day, what things are you communicating without even talking? What does your outfit say? What does your hairdo say? What is your nonverbal cues? What are they saying? Are they saying that you're so excited to be here? Do they say something like, oh, this is just another wedding? Or does the couple feel like, wow, you really served them? Those little things are going to add up. And knowing your brand, knowing that you are a nostalgic wedding filmmaker, knowing that you're a luxury filmmaker and adventurous, those kinds of things really help. But take a minute, because a lot of us camera geeks are like a little awkward. We like to be behind the camera, not in front of it. But in today's world, like the people are booking you because of you. And so I'm not saying don't be something that you're not, but what I'm saying is like you should be very focused on the fact that you are marketing your brand on a wedding day. So that's mistake number 4. Number 5, I think this one is a really big one. I put it on number 5 because I really want to drive it home, is a lot of us wedding filmmakers are forgetting who this day is actually about. Newsflash, this wedding is not about you. It's not even about the planner. Even if you do luxury weddings and you're there to take care of the planner, that's true. But this wedding day is about those two families that are coming together and celebrating. And if your mindset is, this is about me and my promo reel, this is me and my Instagram stories, or this is going to be great on TikTok, you're going to miss out on the actual story of the two people in the couple. You're going to miss out on who the important people are in their lives. You're going to get really vanilla, boring wedding films if you're not paying attention to who this wedding is really about. And it's different. Obviously, it's about the couple, of course, but sometimes the couple are really close to their family. Sometimes they're eloping by themselves. Sometimes the location is what this wedding is about. They wanted to do a destination. The wedding I just filmed in Puerto Vallarta, they did the wedding there because the bride's dad had passed away 3 years ago. But this location is where they went on all their family vacations for like 10 years. And so the bride really wanted to have a nod to her dad by having the wedding at this location. And if I hadn't taken the time to remember who this wedding was about, I would have never known that part of the story. And it informed the way I filmed the whole event. We're not making a boohoo sad wedding video, but we are incorporating so much footage of dad from home footage because he can't be there, couldn't be there obviously, and we got tapes from the bride and we've ingested those into our computers and got them digitized. And I knew the mother, like by the time the wedding day hit, like mom and I had several conversations even without the bride being there because the mom had several things she wanted to do. I had several conversations with the groom. He had several little things. He wrote a letter to the dad since dad couldn't be there, and he wanted to read that on camera. The mom took some of Dad's old shirts and turned them into pocket squares for all of the guys. So many things happened. And by connecting to who that wedding was about, all of my selfish ambition just fell away. I was there to serve the couple. I was there to take good care of them and make sure that I could preserve those memories for them. And having that filter that I'm living my life through for these 3 days that I'm in Mexico and remembering who this day is actually about helps me serve the couple better, helps me to be aware of who the day is actually about, helps me to be aware that I'm marketing my brand. And I can guarantee you that out of the 100 people that were there, all of them were very impressed with my team, how we handled ourselves, how we dressed, how we served. We weren't complaining, we were helping. And it gave us a mindset to be able to really give them a story that is unique. And if you're wanting to raise your prices, you have to have something unique about your brand. If you're stuck in a $2,000 to $3,000 per wedding film, if you're here in the States, or in like the low to middle range, these are the things that are going to take you past the $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 range. You're going to be able to double your prices compared to the average in the market if you are telling stories that compel, if you are doing these kinds of marketing things, if you understand your brand really well. These are things that are going to help you if you can take those. And so remember, who is this day about? I see in groups sometimes people like, oh, the mom of the bride was a pain in the butt, or the mom of the groom. Like, it's not solely about the bride and groom, the wedding day. It's also about those people. And obviously you're signing a contract with the bride and groom maybe, or the planner or whatever, and you're there to obviously serve them first. But these are real people that are involved in the story as well. And I booked a wedding last year. One of my things that I did with Sam Jacobson whenever I hired him to do the copywriting on my website, and he helped me build a ideal buyer. And we got kind of geeky with it, and he can do this for you as well. Is we walked through and we discovered that for a John Bunn Films bride or a couple, that I'm aiming at two different people. I'm aiming at the bride and the mother of the bride for my ideal client. And my ideal client is really close with her mother typically. And the mom is a social butterfly that likes hosting parties. This is just pretty stereotypical for my kinds of couples. They're affluent. Dad is in the picture, but he is there as the bank account. He's writing the checks. He wants high quality, but I'm mainly talking to mom and the bride. And why am I talking about this for, point number 5 here on not forgetting who this day is actually about, is for me, the wedding day is very much also about the mother of the bride, because most of my referrals come from a mother of the bride telling another friend of hers, another mother of a bride or mother of a groom, how awesome it was to work with me. The mother of the bride for the Mexico wedding I did absolutely loves us. I've taken such good care of her. I've met up with her several times to just pick up tapes. And I lost my dad around the same time that her husband passed away. And it was like we connected on so many different levels. I just care about them as people. I am not just trying to sell them stuff. Of course, I'm going to sell them things, but my goal isn't how can I just get money from them. But I booked a wedding last year for a Telluride, Colorado wedding, and the mother is who reached out to me. And my website, if you've been to johnbunnfilms.com, you'll see that there's a lot of words on it. There's a lot of content on there that is not ideally attractive to other wedding filmmakers. And people sometimes will message me and be like, you have so many words on your website. And I'm like, yeah, it's because I'm aiming at selling to a mom. I'm aiming at selling to a mom and her daughter. And when I did that ideal buyer thing with Sam Jacobson, I realized I needed to speak really clearly to women in their 50s. I needed to, also speak to the brides themselves. And knowing who it is that I'm actually serving and who this wedding day is about helps me. And anyway, back to the Telluride story. I'm filming this wedding for the bride in Telluride. I knew the couple, but honestly, I was really there for the mother of the bride. Like, she is who really saw the value. After the wedding, the couple sent me a message and said, wow, this video is ridiculous. We weren't expecting to get something this good. But since then, I've gotten several referrals because the mother of the bride told the couple, or they told other couples and their mother about me. And then I booked the sister of the bride from the Telluride wedding for a wedding in Houston next year to the same mother because I took such good care of them. And those little things add up, and these mistakes that you're making on wedding days, if you're trying to do too much, if you're forgetting these basics, if you're forgetting to look around and see what's happening, if you're forgetting about marketing your brand, and if you're forgetting about who the day is actually about, you're going to be missing out on raising your prices. You're going to be missing out on getting those weddings that you're seeing people like me or Nick or whoever shoot. And you're like, my gosh, the content's so amazing from those weddings. It's because we are being very intentional about what we're doing on a wedding day. I wanted to add in a bonus because I like a bonus. Bonus is a fun word to say. If you say it enough times, it starts to not make sense. Bonus. Anyway. Bonus mistake time. Number 6, this bonus mistake, this is free of charge. You don't have to pay me for it, just like this podcast, I guess so. But bonus mistake number 6 is important. And I think that this really will make a difference. And if I did this for years, I forgot to do this. And bonus mistake number 6 is you are forgetting to have fun. I know, it's crazy. Weddings can be stressful. There's a lot going on. But if you're stressed and you're not energetic and not enjoying yourself, it's going to show. And this is not a fake it till you make it. Find a way to be at weddings that you have fun doing. If you're doing weddings and you're not having fun, if you're not enjoying yourself, you're not enjoying the hard work that it takes to really do this, if you're not enjoying the stress and you're not enjoying the having to anticipate something every 3 minutes for a 12-hour period of time, you might be in the wrong business. And I think a lot of times we just take so many weddings and we get so bombarded and we're so tired and we're just unable to breathe because we're so backlogged and we have so much going on in our lives that we can't just be in the moment on that wedding day and realize that this is a magical time in these two families' history. This is a new family being created, two becoming one. This is an awesome thing to be at. Weddings are awesome. And if you're forgetting about that, and if you're forgetting to filter everything you're doing around this idea that, wow, someone trusted me to be at this wedding to capture it. I'm going to serve them so well. I'm going to remember how to take care of these people. I'm going to get these basics. I'm going to not try to do too much. I'm not going to forget to look around and see what's going on. I'm not going to forget that I'm there marketing my brand or that who the day is actually about. If you're not doing all those things, you're not going to be able to have fun. And so I recommend really trying to enjoy every single wedding. Will every wedding be the most fun you've ever had? No. But the people, the vendors that are there, just loving being there, having a great attitude, like these simple things are going to book you so many weddings. And that might look different to each of you out there listening. But for me, by the time the reception starts, and people let loose, I'm getting in there with the camera. I'm dancing. I'm having a good time. I'm having fun. I'm not making the day about me because it's not about me, but people love being around you if you're having fun. And think about that on the wedding day. Are you a bump on a log? Are you complaining to the other vendors? Are you saying how hungry you are, how hot it is, or how tired you are? Nobody wants to hear that crap. It's just true. And if you are there and you're not faking having fun, but if your mindset is not, oh, I'm enjoying this, why the heck are you doing it in the first place? Why are you in this business? One piece of advice my dad gave me, 10 years ago, was to really enjoy the journey. And I had just put on a successful event on a different business that I used to own. And I was stressing about like, man, we could have done this better. We could have done that better. And he was like, look around. There's 500 people at this event that you just put on. And people are happy and you're helping people. And if you're so focused on getting better footage or, man, I messed up that moment, or your life is going to just kind of pass you by and you're going to wish you could go back and just enjoy it. I know you're not exactly where you want to be in your business. I know you're not exactly where you want to be in your shooting or your editing, but enjoy the day. Enjoy the wedding day. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the process. So many people I talk to are just frustrated that, they're not charging what they need. Enjoy where you're at, but be pushing forward to where you want to go. So anyway, those are my 5 mistakes and a bonus mistake. I hope you are not tired of hearing my voice. A couple things that I want to say before we wrap up here. If you're listening to this and this is resonating with you, or you just want to say hi, I would love it if you sent a DM to me on Instagram at How to Film Weddings. Just send me a message like right now, like pull out your phone, hit DM, send me a message and say, hey, I was just listening to your podcast, and let me know what you think. Let me know if this was helpful to you, or just say hi. But do that for me. I'd love to connect with you. I sit here and I'm in an office and I'm talking to a camera, and I love just knowing who it is that's listening to our voice. And I appreciate that. So send us a DM. And then before I sign off today, I want to remind you about Calibrate Workshop. Calibrate Workshop, our online workshop, one day, August 23rd. Tickets are going live on August 3rd for pre-sale. So head over to howtofilmweddings.com/calibrate to get on the pre-sale ticket list. And if you're still listening, the prices are actually going to be even better for those on the pre-sale list. We're announcing our speaker list soon, so be sure to be involved in our Facebook group or on our Instagram. We're going to be posting all about who is our guest speakers. It's a really fun time for us as we're moving into the hot part of the summer here in the States and getting into that fall wedding season coming and getting everything prepared. So we have a lot of really great episodes coming out. We have a lot of new things on our howtofilmweddings.com website. So be sure to check all those things out. Thank you so much for tuning in. Seriously, I really appreciate it. And until next time, we'll see you.